that buck.
Packing, dude.
Yeah. Little dudes. Gosh, deer everywhere.
Okay, so you guys, we've been making a couple clips to kind of just review stuff and chat about bro science, whatever, but I'm with the trail camera king right here. And I know that I have questions, and I'm sure lots of guys would love to know some tricks of the trade, how to get awesome photos, where to put cameras, how often to check them. Go.
I wouldn't say trail cam king, but as far as elk go, I'm pretty good. I have my days. And really my elk game's fairly limited to one season. I don't put them out through the winter. I do, and I get pictures, but they're not my go-tos. I don't repost them. No. All my stuff is scouting, because I'm trying to kill the bulls archery season. You know, I'm bow hunting nut. I hate the cold. I hate it. I want to hunt when it's warm and like I can sleep on top of my sleeping bag. So I do a lot of summer stuff. And for elk, obviously elk are just, they're beef cows. They're just trying to pack on fat. So my focus is always food and water. I stay out of the cow and calf areas. A lot of the, you know, as far as where you place your trail cams, I mean, you can go through the whole mix. Like you can start out where you're buying your trail cameras and what you're buying. I try to buy cheap cameras. I don't buy super expensive ones because I'm trying to get as many out as possible, because I just want to find a specific animal. The more I can get out, the better. And if I lose one or two, I'm not going to cry because it was 60 bucks.
Yeah, that's the key.
Whereas, dude, if I'm losing a $225 camera, I freak out. I freak. And so if it's 60 bucks, I can deal with it. I still get mad. It's still not fair. You know, it's still ugly. But at the same time, it depends on what your goal is. So I try to find one animal. Once I find him, I'll move my good cameras in all over the place and try to catch him again.
So shotgun approach, and then you refine your
that's
concentration.
That's a good analogy. You shotgun it out. You get them all over the place. You don't spend a ton of money. All cameras work. All cameras are good. Some are better at some things. Some take better night pictures. Some take better day pictures. And it's finding which ones work for you. It's huge. As far as where you put them, I focus on food areas, food and water. In the summertime, like wallows can be okay. They cross through there, but they're not big on wallows. Wallows you don't even need to mess with till Labor Day. There's another buck right there.
They're packing.
Yeah. Anyway, you know, so I try to focus on feed areas, wherever they're going to just pound food. Bulls move away from the cows, so I don't put a lot of cameras in aspen areas. I don't see them. That's where the cows and calves hang out. They move in there eventually, but it's not real hot in the summer. Those north-facing benches, anywhere with acorns, choke cherries, like the elk will be in there thick as flies. They're just trying to put on weight. They're trying to get fat.
Yeah, they can stay by the food.
Yeah, put your cameras in there. North faces can be great. I always look for benches. Anytime I can find a bench on a topo, especially if it's on a north face, I go check it out. I go cruise through it, because those are the spots where elk bed. They love benches.
When do you start putting up cameras for summer scouting?
I start in May, which is a little early. In all reality, you're not going to see what they are till about the 20th of June. But I have so many cameras I put out, and plus the ones I do have out need new batteries. So I've got to make it to all of them by June 20th. But June 20th, like to July 20th is when I find my bulls.
Yeah.
Everything else after that is like what you're saying. That's when we refine.
Yeah.
That's when we start pulling cameras here and putting them here and try to hone in on one animal. But my goal is to kill them, not to get pictures.
Sure.
So my goal is just a little bit different than other guys. But again, same thing. Mule deer, you know, obviously if you're hunting desert muleys, water. Because you go on the strip and cameras are just stacked. There's 10 of them.
10 on each drinker.
The San Juan, I mean, they're all over the place. But high country muleys, you're putting them in saddles and pinch points, just like I do my elk.
Trails.
Yeah, pinch points can be great if you can figure out how to use them. I'm a whitetail guy, so I'm constantly looking at pinch points because that's how I kill them. And I can do the same thing for elk.
Do you use bait?
Yeah. As far as bait goes, Early part of summer, salt's my best thing. I mean, you can buy whatever you want. Everything's a little different because everywhere has different mineral content. I have some places Critter Lick's the bomb. I have other places Trophy Rock works okay. I have places the elk love deer cane. It's crazy. They love the sweet molasses. But then in the very next canyon or the next mountain, they won't even touch the stuff.
Yeah.
Salt's number one while velvet's on. Once velvet pills, cow elk still touch velvet or salt, they like it. But bulls, once the velvet's off, they won't touch it. They don't even care. A lot of times that's when I move more cameras. There's a bunch of elk right there. See them?
Yeah, they're all cows.
Yeah. But, you know, once the velvet comes off, they don't care about the salt. I'll relocate. That's when I kind of move them into wallow country. I have other baits I put out that, you'll figure it out if you look hard enough. But they still work for bulls. When, you know, even hardhorn, even in the middle of the rut, they'll stop and eat up certain kinds of bait.
How far away from your target, like let's say your bait is here, how far do you put the camera usually away from the target where you think the animal's going to come in?
12 to 15 feet usually works really well. If you try to go under that 8-foot range, a lot of the times your big bulls lift their heads and their antlers are gone. So if you can keep it out kind of far, but not too far. You know, I have some areas where I don't have a tree close enough. You know, I'm 40 feet out, 50 feet out, and then I gotta zoom in. Those areas I put nicer cameras. That's where I put my 10 megapixels. Because if I do get a picture and they have to have a strong infrared, then I can zoom in and go, okay, he's what I think he is, or he's not.
How high off the ground?
Elk 36 to 40 inches.
Oh, really? So like belt height, belt to your ribs kind of thing?
Yeah, about maybe, you know, mid-chest. I'm a short guy, so, you know, it depends on how tall you are.
That's surprising. Did you angle them up or down at all, or just flat?
At that level, it's just flat. If I go higher, I start angling them down. And by doing that, I just put sticks behind the top of them.
Wedge them in there?
Yeah, and I kind of, then I'll take pictures before I leave and make sure it's hitting right where I want it to. Because, dude, there's nothing more frustrating than having it not pointed the right spot and you're catching their feet or catching the tops of their heads because you didn't take the time to make sure the angle was perfect. So then you've just lost 4 weeks of pictures.
Yeah.
Because you didn't get back in there soon.
I was going to ask you, how often should you check your cameras without overdoing it, but also staying on top of it?
As far as elk goes, dude, you can't. You could check your camera every day. It's not going to screw it up.
No way.
Yeah, and I try, you know, because the way they move the cattle in the areas I go, I try to hit them every 3 weeks. That's like, if it makes it to 4 and 5 weeks, I start freaking out.
Sure.
That I haven't got there. But mule deer, opposite. I wouldn't touch anything for 4 weeks. Like, I'd stay out of there because deer, you know, they're really susceptible to that stuff.
Well, and they pattern. You talk about how these bulls do these 8-day cycles.
Yep.
Deer are like 2 to 3 days.
Yep.
So you could easily disrupt things by getting in there too much.
Yep.
That's pretty cool. I like that.
No, it's smart.
That's good feedback. You got anything else?
No, a lot of guys like worry. A lot of guys get after me for posting pictures of bulls, especially my big bulls. I always keep 2 or 3 in reserve. Obviously, I think most guys will. What's funny to me is that people really hide their pictures. They think that if they post them, guys are going to start chasing them down and finding their bulls. I've only had one kid ever start following my truck around to try to figure out what I'm doing. Dude, do you think I ever saw him in hunting season?
No.
Not even once. Not once. So I don't stress about that as much.
The kind of guys that are a threat, they have their own cameras.
Yeah, for real.
Newsflash.
And if they really are that effective, more than likely, you know, they're going to find their own bull.
Yeah.
Like, they're going to pull a trigger on another one that, I mean, you didn't even know was there because they are effective guys.
Sure. They get it
So
done.
I don't stress about it too much. I like to share my pictures. I want my viewers to see it. And I'm there to just kind of hype people up.
Yeah.
That's my job, is to, like, dude, look at the bulls Utah's putting out. Like, we're killing stuff. And so that's what I like. I get more excited about some of my trail cam pics than I do the bulls that hit the dirt. Like, I'll do a little dance when I'm checking cards sometimes.
Oh, yeah, it's so fun.
Yeah, I go nuts. It's just, and that's the thing, it's just fun. Trail cams, you can never be too serious about them, because very rarely do I kill the bulls I get on camera. Like, they just...
Oh yeah, your hit list is a mile long.
Elk grow out of the ground. Like, there'll be a bull just show up out of nowhere that no one's seen. He came out of left field, done and done. So just never take them too serious. Know that you're doing it for fun. The biggest thing you can get out of trail cams, that in my mind, is I get a good idea of what age class I'm hunting for that unit. That's what it does. It gives me the ability to go, look, I've got 3 or 4 pictures of 370 type bulls and maybe a dozen 350. So I know I can hold out for 350 and maybe even lock down one of those 370s. And that's what I focus on. That's where my hit list begins and ends, is with those cameras telling me what's there.
Exactly.
Not one specific bull, but maybe an age class that I should be holding out for.
Good stuff, man.
Yeah.
Get out there and learn, guys.
It's a lot of grinding.
I was going to say a lot of grinding, a lot of money, a lot of time.
Yeah.
It's a lot of money, a lot of all of the above, but it's freaking worth it.
So fun.
It is fun, and it works, so.
Yeah.
Sorry about the distraction. We're driving through prime winter range, and we've seen about 700 deer and probably 200 elk, so we're kind of like, I'm a little bit distracted.
And we're still on the, like, no shed.
Yeah, this is no shed Utah still.
Yeah, it's
so.
March 5th. We're still early.
3 weeks. These horns are just rotting here.
Just bleaching out.
They're getting chewed up by the critters. They won't be here in a month.
If they're still on the heads, they're bleaching on their heads.
Yes, sir. Dad and Meth in them